Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aline and I run a small niche handbag brand from Leipzig, Germany, and today I want to talk to you guys about working from home or home office days, how to be more productive on those days, and my tips and tricks that I gathered throughout the years running my business from my home office. My number one tip is to create a routine. And by a routine, I mean a routine that works for you. That means getting up at the same time in the morning, doing your workout in the morning if you want to. If you don't, then don't. Drink your coffee, start your day just the way you would on a normal working day. So that you get into the routine and you don't have to struggle with getting started with your day every day on a different basis. My day starts about 7 in the morning. My alarm goes off and the first thing I do is I make myself some coffee, and I always go back to bed for the first cup of coffee in the morning. I know this is a huge luxury, but this is what I do to have like a soft start, because I'm the worst in the morning. I'm not a morning person, I'm the opposite. Taking these 5 minutes in the morning really helps me to get going. I really need these to like get out of my grumpy mood, because no matter what time I get up, I just hate it. After my first cup of coffee, I go on getting ready for the day, and I start the day in the office around 9 a.m. I also decided to structure my day by having lunch around the same time of the day. So I will have lunch around 12 or 1 p.m. and then continue to working usually until 5:36 p.m. in the evening. This way I have structured my day to be like kind of a normal type of working day that is almost the same as if I would be just going to a regular office with regular office hours and the structure around that, because this helps me to feel like I'm just having another working day. Because working from home sometimes it can be very difficult to get yourself into the right mindset. This routine is supposed to help you feel more confident in your workday, have the kind of structure that you are maybe used to from the office or from your regular normal job or your previous job if you are just starting your own business. And it really helps to keep your mind on work, and also it really helps in the evening to decide when to stop working, because sometimes it can be really overwhelming. You feel like you're never doing enough, that you should be just working 1 more hour or 2 more hours, and you should always put more work into whatever you're doing. And so for me, having these kinds of fixed hours that I work in always helps me to keep my mind at ease and to focus on the actual work. Tip number 2, dress properly. And by properly, I mean no sweatpants in the home office. I know it's tempting, and I know there are days where I just don't feel good and I don't dress up and I don't do all the zhuzhing and all of the makeup and everything. It's not necessary to do this every day, but on a normal day I would get dressed like I would be going outside of the house. Not wearing sweatpants when you're working from home is crucial to me, because it makes you feel so much better about yourself. You're feeling so much more productive, and it's all about feeling confident and feeling like ready to attack. And for me, sweatpants just doesn't do it. So it's a very personal choice for me that I just get dressed as I would be going the same way as if I would be going to a regular office, and as the same as if I would have meetings all day with people I would want to impress, because the way that I feel when I have an outfit on that makes me feel good, makes me be way more productive in my work, and makes me feel more legit actually. Because I don't want myself to feel like this is just a hobby, or my business isn't legit, or I'm not doing all the work. And sometimes when you're just dressing like you're sitting on the couch or looking sloppy, then you might feel worse about what you're actually doing, or you might feel like you're not doing enough, and that's not just because you're not putting on the work, but actually just because you're kind of letting yourself go by thinking, well, nobody will see me today, and so sweatpants will do the trick. So this is actually one of the most important factors for me to be really productive when working from the office that is included in our home. So my tip number 3 is setting up your office as if it wasn't part of your home. And by that, what I mean is try to set up a professional work environment as much as you can. I know many people starting a small business don't have the luxury that I had by having a whole room to build my workshop, to build the office, to like have all my leather and my desktop and everything set up. But if you have the luxury of setting up a whole room to be your office, think about it as a real office or workplace. What I mean by that is that in this room I try to have none work related items lying around. So only on the weekends is where I allow laundry drying to happen in my office. During the week this is non-negotiable, and also like this room is not allowed to be used for storing any items we don't know where to put, or like this room is really just my office, and I set it up for the sole purpose of being my atelier, and for me to being like creative in it, and being able to craft my bags, for being able to design and prepare shipping and taking pictures and all of that. So for me this really helps, that when I go into this room it really felt like I left the apartment and I just went to work. So my tip number 4 is decide on working hours and stick to them, kind of. As I mentioned before, when I talked about creating a routine, I also decided on what my working hours were supposed to be. This does not mean that I only work from like 9 to 5, because everyone who is running a business knows it just doesn't work like that. But for me, it helps that I know I want to start my day in the office 9 a.m. the latest, and on a regular basis, usually I would want to be finished around 6 p.m. So I try to plan my week like this. Of course, many days this doesn't work because I have a meeting, I have like different things to do, or I'm just in such a creative mood or workflow that I will just want to continue to work longer, or I have an order that has to be completed within the next day and I need to finish step XYZ before I can stop working that day. On these days, of course, I will adjust my working hours accordingly, but on a usual day, if you can put it like that, I will try to stick to my working hours. One of the reasons being my husband is working a regular job, so he starts to work around 8 a.m. in the morning and he comes home around 6. So I try to be ready by then that we can spend the evening together. And maybe your spouse or your family works on and lives on a similar schedule, and that's why this really helps to improve your output when you are working in a home office situation. My tip number 5 is to work on your mindset. And by that I mean try to not think about it too much as working from home, but just think about it as your work. When I talk to people about my business and they get interested, I tell everyone I work from home. I tell everyone that my office or my workshop is included in our apartment, and I'm very happy about it since I really enjoy this working situation. But on the other hand, I also try not to think about it too much as working from home. It's just my work. And by that, I try to separate the two situations. So on the one hand, yes, this is my home. I feel very comfortable here. I love our apartment. It's very nice. It's my home. But on the other hand, this is also where I work, and so I try not to give the topic too much attention. It's just show up to work every day, get things done, pull yourself together, and not focus on the home office situation too much. Tip number 6 is no cleaning or housework during office hours. And I know it can be tempting, and I do also remember back in college, this is what I used to do when I was supposed to be learning for an exam, for example. I used to do all of the cleaning of the month or of the year or of the whole semester while I was supposed to be learning. But when working from home, this can be very difficult. I myself am very, very guilty of doing housework during my office hours. But I only use it, for example, when there is waiting time. When crafting a bag, there's a thing called edge paint, which is applied, as the name suggests, to the edges of the leather. And this is to make it more durable, to prevent it from rain and humidity and these kinds of stuff. And when the edge paint is applied, you apply about 3 to 5 layers depending on the leather and the situation. So every layer needs to dry for about 30 minutes. And if my current order statuses and situations allow it, and I know I have these spare 30 minutes that I would be waiting for the paint to dry, and I have no other task that needs to be done at this particular moment, then I will do the laundry or the dishes or something like that. But this is an exception, and also I myself have learned to deal with this, and I know, for example, that my husband doesn't expect me to do this kind of work while I'm supposed to be running my business. So this is very important, and if you and your family or your boyfriend or spouse are struggling with this topic, then you should be way more strict than I am about this. My tip number 7 is socialize. Working from home can be very, very lonely. And I know many people who are struggling with that aspect of working from home office or running your own business as a one woman or one person show. So trying to socialize on, for example, your lunch breaks can help immensely with feeling lonely during your workday. I myself really enjoy working alone. I used to work in a big office. It was very, very loud, and some days I would just come home and feel super stressed, and I know sometimes I still heard the phone ringing that specific ringtone that your phone in the office has when I was sitting on the couch watching a movie in the evening. So I myself enjoy working alone very much. I love the peace, I love the quiet, I love that I can put on some music if I want to. So I do not struggle that much with it, but it depends also on my mood. It depends very much if it's winter or summer. My mood in winter is always like way worse than in summer because I'm such a summer person. But yeah, try to socialize, try to set up lunch dates, try to meet up with friends or former colleagues or maybe your partner for lunch so that you feel more as part of daily life and of the working people, if that helps with feeling less lonely if you struggle with that. Tip number 8, be kind to yourself. And I know this can be particularly hard when working from home or running your own business. You always expect such a high level of productivity from yourself. Sometimes it's really ridiculous. So try to be more kind to yourself. Try to reflect more on how much work you actually got done that day, and also be more accepting of the days where you are just not that productive. Because let's be honest, when I was working in the digital agency, there were days where I just couldn't concentrate, where I was having like endless meetings that could have been an email, where I was stuck on the phone with a client who was just in a chatty mood for about 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes. So I had many days that weren't as productive, but I didn't judge myself for it because I went to work. I was in the office. I did go, So let's just try to reflect on that. I think I have spent many hours with colleagues in the office kitchen, just having a chat about life, or many meetings that were way longer than they would have needed to be. So I always try to be very kind to myself when I have these kind of days where my brain just doesn't want to function properly, where I feel like I don't know how to concentrate, or where coffee doesn't help anymore. Sometimes I just quit my working day around 3 in the afternoon because I realize it's just not working for me on that day. And make the most of the freedom that working from home and running your own business, or these kind of home office days, if you have them provided from your company, make the most of them by also being accepting of that maybe you just weren't as productive as you thought you would be on that day. So we are all just human beings. We are not machines. You can't always be on your highest productivity level. This is it, guys. These are my top tips on making working from home more efficient and for making it easier for you to structure your day and to have a productive day while running a business from home or having a home office day. I really hope you like my tips, and let me know if you have any more tips on how to be more productive or on how to make the most of these home office days. I can't wait to hear from you what you think, and I will see you soon. Bye!